Hello, everyone. Welcome. Sorry for being a little bit late. Had to get a couple of things together. Woke up a little bit late. Was watching some YouTube. Turns out I have a bit of a problem with how much YouTube I watch. Let's see. Let me just do a couple of setups over here. So for anyone wondering, I'm using a new laptop. It's the M1 MacBook Pro, the 13-inch one. Um, So there's just like stuff that I have to set up on it. So let's see, we'll put you over here. Welcome. Let me just see if I can pull up the chat. We are almost at 90,000 subscribers. I'm loving it. Let's see, go to live. Oh, you know what? I don't know why the thumbnail is all wrong for this one. Let me see if I can edit that. That might be why people are not joining. Let's see, so download. Put that over there. But yes, what do we have? Hello, morning. So hi everyone, my name is Shashank Kalanathi. I am a data analyst, a senior data analyst. Working for Nordstrom, and I do this live stream every Thursday morning to answer whatever questions you might have about the world of analytics. There are a lot of questions out there. It's a confusing world, so I'm here to help answer them as best that I can. So let's see, it came out all wrong. I don't know why YouTube saves your thumbnails and like lets you download your thumbnails in such crappy quality. All right, Dmitro from Ukraine. Hello. I hope you and your family are, well, as safe as anyone can be. And my thoughts are with you. KR Morning. I've been watching your channel for a few months now. Just wanted to share. I've got a technical interview today for a data analyst job. SQL and intermittent. That's amazing, Kay. That's exactly what we want to hear. At the end of the day, this whole channel is all about helping people get jobs. That's the only thing that matters in the context of this channel. So love to hear stuff like that. Love it. Hello. Welcome, everyone. Colin from Trinidad. Dave World from Nigeria. Great to see you again. Kiani from Canada. Notorious Swaggy. Great to see you again, man. All right. Finally got a data analyst job thanks to your roadmap. Davlin Swain, love it. I'm really glad that roadmap was helpful. People have been asking for it a lot, and I hope I delivered with that roadmap. I felt like it was a pretty solid overview of the industry. So I haven't actually put together my setup. For anyone anyone that was watching last week, you'll know that I have been hanging out with a lot of the other data science YouTubers. And so I got back like 2 days ago, just have not had a chance to put everything back in my quote unquote studio together. All right, so there we go. We have the mic over there. Hello from the Philippines. Ishan, great to hear from you. Okay, any resources to learn linear algebra for machine learning? There is this guy, I forgot what it was called. Let's see. I've asked myself this question on more than one occasion because this person has excellent resources. Let's see if I can find them. But they have great resources on machine learning. I'm trying to find it. When I find it, I'll let you know. It was a former Apple engineer who created a website that basically helps you productionalize ML algorithms, and I think they have linear algebra on that. Pratyush Patnaik, how are you doing? Just want to know which project will be best for data analytics. So in general, and I would say with life, there's no such thing as a best answer for basically anything. That question won't help you get many places in life because, there's no such thing as a best thing for all people, right? Now I can say a good project will generally have a component of it that you're very interested in. So I like to tell people, go find a subject matter or subject that interests you and study that and find data on that and ask yourself questions in relation to that. Start off with a simple visualization, and then from there start incorporating code and Python and stuff like that. But start off with visualizing. That's where I would recommend. All right, what do we have here? And let's see if we can. Oh, whoops. This is not working very well. There we go. And then let me go to the live stream of this class. All right, so pop out. I'll have a couple of videos coming out in the next few days, by the way, guys, so be on the lookout. Actually, I'll have 2 videos coming out on Saturday, so. Daniel Santoyo, working on my data portfolio based on your roadmap. Any tips for writing clean SQL code and comments? Thanks. I would recommend looking at a SQL formatter for your coding platform. I use dbeaver, right? So it comes with an auto formatter. There are usually rules as to how many line widths you could have on a single line, and you'll usually split stuff out after that. If you have any lists of objects, so you're like selecting a bunch of things, make sure you have a space between each one. Indentations are a great way to make sure that your code is clean also. Long story short, a SQL formatter, either one online or one inside your IDE, will be very useful for helping make sure you have good code, good clean code. Davlin Swain, surprisingly, I landed a senior analyst job at AEP. Nice, that's awesome. Good stuff. Gabriel Furlong, how frequently does retail consider ML tools to assist stock replenishment buyers? Kind of do a terrible job with minimum maximum reorders. Yeah, minimum maximum reorders are kind of, the super basic way of handling this stuff. It's a good starting place, but really, people should be using much more advanced algorithms trying to figure that stuff out. Really just depends on how advanced the implementation of that is at that company, honestly. More companies with more advanced implementations will be using machine learning for basically like in some capacity in all of their systems of business, right? But not all companies are at that level of advancement with their analytics or with their with their analytics, I guess, to be honest. So you will see it there, but not everywhere. All right, what do we have here? So Pratyush, another thing to mention about your Patreon page, how does it work? Like, will I get a chance in any way to be in contact with you if you get stuck? Can you help me? So if you join my Patreon page, it's, so I'll be 100% honest with you. Mostly it's a great way to just support the channel. And it helps me say no to a lot of advertisers, quite honestly. Like I get a lot of like really scummy advertisers that like want to advertise a really crappy product. I mean, obviously like, I'm not going to just, if you don't support the Patreon, I'm not going to say yes to these advertisers, but it makes it a lot easier to continue making these videos. You will have access to a Discord with a group of people that, support the Patreon as well. And I do answer questions on there, usually not immediately. I haven't started like a service where I answer questions immediately for people. And on the Discord, I'm generally also quite, like I am in this live stream, I'm quite strict with people in the sense that I won't answer questions where I felt like the person who asked put very little effort into figuring it out themselves. So the Discord will help you get in contact with me, and I do, help people in the Discord. We've had people in there for like months and stuff, and I offer career advice too there, but not like I don't give like blocks of my time. Again, it's $5 that I can't do that for $5. So you can ask a couple of questions, but usually you have to have very well thought out questions. I was talking to a YouTuber earlier, and it might show up in a video, but I'm not sure if it will, so I'm not gonna like quote who it was. But the YouTuber brought up a very specific point about how a lot of people are looking for mentorship out there, but they don't understand that mentorship doesn't work unless you've already put in the work yourself to know where your problems are and what you need help with. Otherwise, it's just having someone do the work for you, right? So definitely keep that in mind if you want to join the Discord to like have access to me like communication wise. I only help people who would like to help themselves. So I just want to make sure that's very clear. Genuine Strong channel is perfect for self-learning SQL 1 hour videos. Amazing. Thank you so much, Kay. Okay, so what do we have next? Okay, Maher AMR. Hey, Shashank, new aspiring data analyst here. Tips on getting real world experience before entering the job search world. A great way to get real world experience is to go ahead and find a nonprofit or some other organization that doesn't have a lot of money, and ask if you can help them out with like data visualizations and stuff like that. Like go to their website, see if they have any problems with data visualizations, and offer to do it for free. That is a really go ahead and email them. That is a great way to offer to build up real world skills without actually being in the workforce. So. Amir Hossein Kiani, how do you recommend we should learn Python data analysis libraries versus SQL paired with Tableau, etc.? So Amir Hossein, I think I have that opinion in my data analyst roadmap video. So I recommend you watch that. As far as how to learn it, I have videos on all three of those things. So any advice I have will be in those three videos. Weeb course, great to hear from you. Great to see you, great to see you. Notorious Swaggy, what software do you use to edit your videos? DaVinci Resolve, although I recently bought Final Cut Pro, so I'm hoping to use that to make better videos for you guys. It's not going to happen this week. This week's videos are going to be kind of like, in my normal kind of like low production value, like style, but I'm hoping to up the production value sometime soon. The fighter jet, what do you think about SAS? Is it still commonly used in the industry? Yes, in certain corners of the industry, it is still commonly used. I will say that Python, R, these are still kind of like the industry standards for a lot of this stuff. So, all right, what do we have? Where? Colin Maharaj. I'm sorry, I'm not really sure I understand the question or the statement. Dave World, hey Sean, how do you deploy your machine learning project? Usually I use Streamlit plus an AWS instance, usually AWS Lambda, because it's serverless, it's really easy to use. If you need a server, then Elastic Beanstalk will be your best friend because it combines S3, which is storage, and EC2, which is your compute. Makes it really easy to deploy stuff. If you want to do it for free, then I recommend using Google Cloud. They give you $300 in credits, and it's a good way to get started. Jono, hey Shashank, how's the journey going to try and switch to a data scientist, and what are the biggest difficulties you face so far? I think it's going pretty well. I'll keep you guys updated as new information comes to light. Biggest difficulties faced really have to do with getting the type of work that so people always say, right, you need to do the job you want to have prior to actually getting it. So if you want to be a data scientist, you need to be doing data scientist work. I understand the logic of that. The only problem is that titles mean something, and when you have a certain title, people give you certain types of work. So I would say the hardest thing about any transition is that you're basically going to have to do extra work because people are going to expect you to do your old job and do work for the new job as well. So I would keep that in mind. Paula, great to see you. Oh my God, wow. I'm so tired. Okay, let's see. Hey Shashank, recently saw that you have a Patreon. I wanted to join, but I was wondering if you could help me understand what are some topics / projects that you cover over there. So like I said earlier, my Patreon really is just kind of a way to support the channel. I have some notes on statistics and machine learning over there, but most of my stuff is out there for free. One day I would like to offer a lot more in the Patreon, but I just don't have the capacity. I barely have the capacity to handle what's happening on the YouTube channel right now. If you are on the Patreon, though, you will definitely get access to me through the Discord. Like I mentioned earlier, though, I don't help people who don't want to help themselves. So, don't pay for the Patreon if you're expecting me to, respond once a day about, every question that someone might have. Questions need to be very well structured in order for me to, be able to offer you good advice. So one day, I will probably open up, the more I think about it, honestly, I'll probably do, an hourly service where I do consult people for an hour on, anything related to data analyst stuff, but not quite yet. I have a couple of other things I need to do before that. KR, this technical interview I have for today is a Seattle-based company. I'm making the switch from federal government, so the company's budget of $85K seems unreasonably high. Is that normal for entry? So KR, I would say $85K is solid for data analyst entry in Seattle. The federal government does not pay well at all. And I would say if I were you, keep looking to increase that in a year or so as fast as you can. Because in Seattle, Seattle's expensive and people make a lot of money over here. So 85K is really good, way more than I was making in my first job. So congratulations, that's awesome. Sasha, hey Shashank, what are your best advice for self-learning data analysts? I kind of don't know where to start off as a fresh grad. So Sasha, I have a video called Data Analyst Roadmap. It's linked in the description below. I think it's like the second link in the description. So I recommend watching that. That'll give you most of the advice you'll need. What projects are cool for SQL? That is a good question. Quite honestly, I'm not sure. I mean, unless you load information into a database and then pull it again, I would say demonstrating SQL skills is not the most important thing in my opinion. It's Python and other stuff that'll be helpful with projects. Yeah, I mean, like there are SQL projects out there, but it always seems like you have to because SQL is like kind of like for enterprise applications. You kind of always have to really shove it in there, the application of SQL and personal projects. So I wouldn't worry too much about a SQL project in my opinion. I would practice problems and stuff, and that's where websites like StrataScratch and stuff are really good. Actually, I should probably mention that in the description. So a website I really recommend to practice stuff is StrataScratch, and I will link something in the description below once I find out where I put that link. There we go. Let us put you over here. Save that. So it's in the link in the description below. If you want to practice Python or SQL for data analyst or data scientist positions, I highly recommend StrataScratch. And I just posted the link below. Hopefully it goes through. It should allow my own links to go through. There we go. Yeah. So I recommend that. Augustine Downs, what is your opinion about the data analyst profile in the future? Will it mutate into another profile like data engineering? I'm not so sure so much about data engineering. I think data analysts, potentially SQL and Python will become less important in the future. I was talking to a bunch of people last week, and they were talking about how GPT-3, the AI that can do, yo, Ken, what's up? But GPT-3, the AI that can do the, it can make full English sentences and everything. It has a great, it has the ability to write SQL these days. I found that out last week. So while I think SQL and Python will be necessary for the near future, I could see a future where it's just not as useful as it is today. But that also depends on companies having all their data organized. There's this great feature called that Tableau has called Ask Data, but Ask Data only works if all your data is organized and someone has taken the time to actually put everything together and everything. So as long as companies don't have organized data, those skills will always be necessary. But I could see a future where that is, so much data is so well organized that that's not really what people use anymore. I'm pretty sure back in the past, data analysts used to use Excel for everything. Until the amount of data they had to manipulate just made Excel not the strongest tool to use. Yeah, Ken, you have a bunch of profiles, don't you? Great to see you, and congrats on 200,000 subscribers. So Ken G hit 200,000 subscribers recently, so big deal. It's a big milestone over there. I think 1 million is when you get the next plaque, right? Yeah, I was about to say 500,000, it was 1 million. All right, what do we have next? Where I lost my place. Okay, Jono, do you think we'll see an increase in data-related salaries in the following years? I think we'll see an increase as there are slight shortages in the industry. Actually, if Ken is still online, I think that might be a interesting question for you to answer, because Ken runs analytics at his company, and probably has a much higher purview than I do on actually offering people salaries. So Yeah, Ken, if you have any insight onto what you think will happen with data salaries in the future, feel free to leave it in the comment section or in the chat box. My theory is that at the low end, data salaries will go down because everyone wants to get into this industry. So like at the entry level position, a lot of data salaries will go down as there is a lot of what do you call it? A lot of people competing for a relatively small number of places, especially because low in the data, like if you're operating at the lower level, like the data skill level, there aren't many skills you have to actually know. You can get into like I came into data knowing basically nothing. If I wanted to do CS, like if I wanted to be a software engineer, I couldn't come in knowing literally nothing. Like very few people are going to teach you how to code on the job. Like I've only heard of that happening when someone runs a dev shop and they basically skim your salary for the first couple of months while you learn, which is not, I mean, that's not a criticism. I think that's actually a great system. Both parties are incentivized to like learn things. I think salary-based repayment systems are a tremendous example of, or a tremendous way to like ensure incentives for both parties are put the same way, as long as it's not too, they don't skim too much of that. But yeah, long story short, data engineers and data scientists, I think, will continue to get paid very well, especially at the higher end. Like if you can prove that you bring value to a company, those jobs will get paid quite a bit. Higher end data analysts will get paid a lot as well. I think in the lower end, data analysts and data scientists and data engineer salaries will go down though. Maybe not data engineer, because like engineer salaries I think will continue to remain high, but the low end will get more competitive. Which is why you want to like go to the medium to high end. Abhishant Gupta, thank you so much for the compliment. Okay, what else do we have? Amir Hossein, thanks, but I meant how deep do you recommend learning the Python libraries? You have to be able to do, you have to be able to do, what would you call it? There are a lot of basic functions you need to be able to do without like looking stuff up, right? Like if I'm giving someone so personally when I give interviews to people, I tell them that they can look stuff up and I'm okay with that. But if they were looking up really basic stuff, like how to import CSVs and stuff like that, I would be very concerned because while I think basically everyone looks stuff up all the time, what you look up tells me a lot about how much experience you have and how well you know these libraries. So I would say that, in that video I do, the Python tutorial I do, right, I cover a lot of like basic stuff, like basic things that I think are important to have basically memorized. Pandas you should know quite well. sklearn you should know reasonably well as well. You might be asked questions about that in an interview. Actually, we had this funny game when we were hanging out last week. Who could create a linear regression without a text or with just a text editor? No help, nothing, no autocomplete, nothing. And I think only one person could do it. And that was a person who like regularly works with this stuff. So that's something that's important to remember as well. A lot of this stuff, like if you don't work with it regularly, you're going to have to like look stuff up. It's more about knowing how it works. But I would say there's certain things like pandas and stuff that you should be able to manipulate data relatively well to where you're not looking up everything like read CSV. So Ken said, I think data is one of the domains where you're compensated directly on the skills you have. If you have the most in-demand skills, you will make really good money. I think that's, you know what, that's the short and sweet of it is, yeah, I think that's basically what is needed for the field today, yeah. There's so much to learn and there's so much to improve of your learning that, yeah, that makes perfect sense. You're going to be compensated directly on the skills that you have, exactly. Which is one of the reasons I'm looking to become a data scientist, because a data scientist title communicates to other people that you have certain skills. All right, what else do we have here? Koruk, Roy, Gothic, did I skip your question? I don't think I skipped any questions. I may have. All right. Oh yeah, no, I'm not even at your question, Koruk. I'm like way above that. Jackson and Fuller. So, Koruk, I haven't overlooked your query. I'm going down a list and like I haven't even hit yours yet. Jackson Fuller, thoughts on recent tech layoffs, impact on data. Oh, and sorry, and sometimes I'll take questions at the bottom because I mean in a live stream I can't just handle like all the questions at the top. Otherwise, I lose the chat so much that like people are like, wait, there's no point in even chatting anymore. So Jackson Fuller, thoughts on recent tech layoffs, impact on data analysts and data scientists job market. Yeah, so it's not going to be good for the job market, quite honestly, just to be blunt. And then you have the issue of, give me one second. You have the issue of, what would you call it? Interest rates going up in the United States, right? So we might be, we probably won't head into a recession in the country, honestly. We're probably going to be fine. I will say that there is going to, it's another example of why you should continue to upskill and make sure that you are a very skilled candidate. Skilled candidates won't have any problem finding jobs even in this market, right? So I think the tech layoffs will affect a lot of people for sure. I mean, they have affected a lot of people for sure. Depends on, yeah, exactly what like role your team is on, what you're doing, what product you're working on, what company you're working for. Some companies are affected a lot more by these series of layoffs than like other companies will be. So a lot of factors go into it. Long story short, if you're asking me what I like, given that this channel is about getting people jobs and ensuring that they get to stay in good jobs, I tell people that these are the reasons you want to be a highly skilled worker and and have a good portfolio and be known as a skilled person in your industry. That way you'll have an easier time staying above the fray with these layoffs and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, even highly skilled people get laid off, but it is easier to avoid layoffs and it's easier to avoid these problems when you are more skilled. And it's like Ken said, this is an industry where you get paid and compensated largely dependent on the skills that you have. So, it's one of those jobs where you never stop learning. You have to consistently learn, and you have to keep learning about new technologies. But it's also why this industry pays as well as it does. All right, what do we have next? TLDR, survival of the fittest. Long story short, yeah. The fittest and the most what would you call it? The most tenacious, right? Because there are very talented people, very quote unquote fit people who got laid off as well. So tenacity is also very important. It's about skills and tenacity, I'd say. If you get laid off, you have to get back at the grindstone and find your way back in. Contacts are really important. Networking is incredibly important. And when I say networking, I don't mean like going to networking events and like talking to random people. I mean, networking really is just making friends. That's really what networking is. Because you're not someone who's not your friend or that doesn't know you professionally is not going to recommend you for a job. And so I think networking is also another great way to ensure and shield yourself from negative economic downturns, because hopefully someone somewhere in your network will be employed and be able to help you snag a position at a company potentially if you need it. So I would say networking is not about going to events. In my opinion, it's not about going to events and making and just talking to a bunch of random people. It's about going out of your way to build relationships with people. That's what it is. It's about going out of your way to build relationships with people. The other day, I was hanging out with a couple of people, right? And I was talking to this guy, and then I had to go to bed. And this guy was super cool, contacted me afterwards and was like, yo, I enjoyed our conversation. I want to, stay in contact. He knew me through a personal, through someone else, right? That is the sign of someone who, that is one way to, network. That's how you network, right? You build these connections with people. We just had a good conversation. No one was asking anyone for a job. No one was asking anyone professional advice here and there, but no one was asking anyone for a favor. But it's a real connection now that can be called upon in the future if there's ever a meeting of our paths. So networking is a severely underrated skill. Is the volume low for anyone else? So on my end, nothing has changed. So I would assume that it's not a problem with my computer. Let's see. Sheps, of Python, SQL, and Tableau, which are the most important two to learn to start out? Watch my roadmap, Data Analyst roadmap video. I go over it in that. Zara Bajawi, got my financial analysis position after learning Excel VBA code, and I want to pivot to data science instead of analysis. What are the next after math, stats, programming, and visualization, and SQL? Honestly, I would say stats isn't even that important. I think stats are overrated for low-end analytics. Once you get into like more advanced stuff like data science and stuff, it becomes very important. Watch my data analyst roadmap video. So sweet. Just wanted to make sure it's good for everyone. Hey, Hiroko, Nabishan, great to see you guys again. Are DBAs in demand? I've been looking for positions in Charlotte because it fits my skill sets and interests very well, but I haven't seen very many. Yeah, I would say DBAs are in demand. I mean, at the end of the day, someone needs to manage those databases, right? With all the data being created, you do need DBAs. I will say, not all markets are good markets for all jobs. Although in today's economy, hopefully most companies should be okay with remote work. So maybe don't look in Charlotte specifically. Look for companies in other parts of the country that are okay with remote. Haroon, do you do any one-to-one meetings where you can where we can show our work and you can show us where we're going right or wrong? I've landed a reporting role using PBI. I have no support around me. I'm thinking about launching something like that in the future. I have a couple of projects I'm working on right now that kind of prevent me from doing that. And the problem I have is that the hourly rate I would charge. So I thought it was going to be 75. Then I talked to a couple of people that were like, oh no, like for the work that you do, you should be charging a lot more. I might continue to charge 75, just kind of like more as a service. 150 would actually be probably closer to like what the market rate actually is. But I'll probably start off with 75 just to offer something back to the audience and stuff. So if there's an interest for people that want to do that, then sure, I might do it. I might do it here or there, but currently there are no plans to do that. Google is so expensive due to my country's currency. Wait, but you can do the Google certification for free, right? Like you can do the lessons for free, right? If you want to learn, you can do that for free. I guess just the certification itself costs money. Dave World, are you still opting into the data science world? If so, how far have you gone? Yes, 100%. At the end of the day, there are not many data analysts that get paid $200,000 or more. It's kind of the way I see it. And very quickly, I will very quickly run into the ceiling of what a data analyst can do as an individual contributor. And I would like to personally continue on the individual contributor route. There are only so many skills a data analyst can build, in my opinion. And not to say I have every single one of them, but I can see the end already. So that's why I want to get into data science. It opens up an entirely new set of skills that I have to learn. And data science, unlike analytics, in my opinion, has a basically unlimited ceiling. Like obviously a data analyst can do data science work, but titles do mean things. So yeah, I very much do want to get into the data science world, and we're making good progress. I'll keep you guys updated. We should see an update to this story in a couple of months. Amir Hussein Kiani, as for portfolio projects, do you recommend creating well-known apps from scratch, especially if their codes aren't available to the public? I don't see the problem with that. Do you have any specific examples? Ronak Patel, how to get help on Power BI projects? I am on to that, but looks like I'm stuck. I need some guidance. Any site for Power BI? I am not aware of any personally. I don't use Power BI myself. I use Tableau. A lot of it just has to do with the fact that Power BI is not on Mac. So I am not sure. What a relief. I live in Portland, so cost is lower. Sweet. Yeah, no, okay. I think you're being offered a solid starting salary for sure. Colin Maharaj, you were trying to remember the course for linear algebra. Yes, that is a good one. That is a very good one. Ronak Patel, what system config is necessary for learning data science, machine learning, deep learning? Okay, so I will say the laptop you have doesn't really matter in this. I'll put it this way. If you're asking what are the specs I need, then you probably don't need to worry about it. Because what happens is if you're doing work that is advanced enough to where this kind of stuff matters, then you'll have a decent idea of I need a GPU, I need NVIDIA stuff, I need something this powerful, I need to do stuff with the CUDA cores, so stuff like that. I would say, I tell people all the time, the laptop you get doesn't matter. Unless you want to do Power BI. If you want to do Power BI, you can't get a Mac. Or, well, you can get a Mac, but then you have to buy Parallels and Windows, and the Mac all of a sudden becomes significantly more expensive. Outside of OS-specific software, like Power BI, I personally always recommend Macs. I just really like them. Especially the M1 Macs are amazing. And they work with most libraries quite well. There are some things they don't work with quite well enough, but for the most part, I would say it's not that big of a deal. So long story short, what laptop should you get? I don't think it really matters. Unless you're doing a lot of neural networks and stuff like that, in which case, you might want to look for NVIDIA GPUs and stuff like that. Yeah, I guess that's kind of the way to put it. Either it doesn't matter, or a laptop and an NVIDIA GPU is probably like the way to answer that question. I would also say that the question, some stuff that does matter in my opinion, screen quality, keyboard size, or like how good is the keyboard, because you're going to be doing a lot of typing and staring, which is one of the reasons I recommend MacBooks as well. They have tremendous keyboards and great screens as well. Like the screens are just designed so well. Jin Young, great to see you. Great to see you. Excited to see you in a couple of weeks. I may have not responded to your message. Let me get to that. But let's see. Would you be interested in doing a video about how to grow one's interpersonal skills in technical positions like data analysis? I feel like viewers would appreciate it. Oh, that's an interesting question. You know what? That's an excellent question. Yeah, you know what? Why not? Why not? That is a great one. I'm going to highlight this, or I'm going to screenshot this over here. That way I can remember it for later. But thanks for joining, man. Hey, sir, how's 365 data science course? I've heard solid things about it. I've heard it's very good. And Ken makes content for them as well. So, it has his stamp of approval in some ways. All right, what are we at? We are at 8:40. We are at 8:40. Let's see what other questions we can answer. Are you familiar with Jeffrey Wigington? Are you familiar with Avery Smith? So I met Avery last week. Super cool person. Like permanent smile on his face. I love it. And his data career jumpstart course or his 21-day challenge. I'm looking at doing his 21-day challenge. I wonder if it's worth it. Well, what is it? I mean, if it's free? I don't really see the problem with it at all. Let's see, 21-day challenge. Data. I mean, is it free? If it's free, then I definitely don't see the problem. It looks like it has some really solid corporate sponsors like the RBC, the Royal Bank of Canada. Yeah, I don't see anything that asks you to pay. So yeah, I mean, if it's free, then anything that gets you to work consistently is really good. I think the absolute most underrated skill in data science and analytics, in my opinion, or any technical position, right, is the ability to work a little bit or like work at something every single day. If you do basically anything, at least once a day, every day, you will become good at it, and probably faster than you expect to be 100% honest. So I would say any challenge that helps you do that is, especially if you have trouble, doing that normally, is probably a good idea. And the benefit to paying for things, I'd say, and that's not to say, I always tell people, I have a boot camp coming out soon, and even with that boot camp, I'm going to tell everyone, I always recommend going for the free option first, seeing if that works for you. If it doesn't, then pay for something. I'd recommend, unless you know yourself very well, don't pay for things immediately. So yeah, hopefully that started, or sorry, hopefully that's helpful. Renaud Margain, is a data analyst job, even an entry level, easy to find in SoCal when you have the skills, when you have a portfolio, but when you don't have the relevant job title? I would think so. My kind of like general experience with LA in general is you need to be careful of like low paying jobs that ask a lot of you. For some reason, this seems to be a big problem in LA. Because even I was like offered a couple of jobs in LA, and I was like, they're asking for a lot from me, and they pay me very little, and then California taxes a ton. So I would say with LA, that's the only thing I would keep in mind is that you need to make sure that you actually are getting your money's worth with any career you take on over there. But I mean, the LA job market is solid as well. At the end of the day, the best jobs are in San Francisco, Seattle, Austin, New York. But there are great jobs in all parts of the countries. Yeah, that's probably how I put it. The absolute best jobs are in a couple of cities, but there are great jobs in many cities. All right, what do we have next? Someone with a Cyrillic name, so I can't really read it. Hey, can't find an entry-level data analyst position in the country I live in right now. Oh, Russia, okay. Because of all the big companies leave what websites are best for remote work in your opinion? I'll be 100% honest with you. Even, my understanding of the situation in Russia right now is that even you can't do remote work because people just won't hire people in Russia. Like Upwork isn't paying anyone in Russia right now. Fiverr, I believe, isn't paying anyone in Russia right now. The sanctions basically make that impossible. So I would say, and it's kind of it's what sanctions do. People who are very well connected and very wealthy aren't affected. It's people. It's the working class that gets affected, right? So I don't know. I'll be 100%. I have never experienced being sanctioned myself. I don't know anyone from Iran or Russia personally, or other like heavily sanctioned countries. Upwork, yeah, you can't do Upwork. You can't do Fiverr as far as I'm aware. So I apologize. That's very much like beyond my expertise. I cannot comment on it knowledgeably at all. Because what I would normally tell people to do wouldn't apply in this situation. So yeah, no, that's a difficult one. What might be helpful is like we're looking for like local companies or like even like small mom and pop shops, like someone running like a grocery store or something. Maybe they need some analytics work. Offer to do work for them, and that would be a good way to keep your skills sharp until Putin decides to end the war, maybe, and sanctions maybe get lifted. But until then, I would say probably sticking to something local is the best bet. I don't know how many international opportunities there are for people in Russia, to be honest, right now. So I do apologize. Let's see, what do we have next? How important is knowledge of cloud software as a data analyst is important for what I should learn? Depends on the company. Some companies make use of a lot of cloud stuff. Some companies don't. Yeah, the problem with cloud stuff is that it is a skill. Knowing how to use cloud software, like knowing how to work in the cloud is a skill because it's not the same as working locally. I would say you should 100% learn it. At the end of the day, it's a skill that will only become more useful as time goes on and more stuff moves to the cloud. 100% learn how to work in the cloud. Best way to get started, watch my data analyst roadmap video. I'm a PHP, SQL, C++, etc. developer. You can get SQL written at runtime using something called Object Relational Mapper, which allows you to specify stuff about data as SQL gets written. Is that? I'm trying to remember what that was in relation to. Okay, so Cora, we are finally at your question. I recently got selected for a PhD in Italy. I'm a statistics background student. What should I do? Should I go for a job? Getting a job is easier than growth for the next 5 years to pursue a PhD. Okay. So PhDs have two use cases, in my opinion. Well, three. One, you either don't care about money, or you're independently wealthy, and or you have a spouse that can take care of you or whatever, and you're doing it for not for fun, but like for your own personal enrichment and stuff like that, right? That's situation one. Situation two, I have heard with PhDs, is that you're getting a PhD in something you believe can be quite lucrative in the future. And the 5 years you're spending now will help you net a much more lucrative career in the future at relatively low effort, or a career in something you're particularly interested in. And then situation three, well, I guess those are really the only two situations, to be honest. Either you're doing it for personal enrichment or you're doing it to make a ton of money in the future. If you're doing a PhD to make a ton of money, I don't think it's a great idea, to be 100% honest. If making money is the primary concern, there are way better ways to do it. A master's degree will get you way further, way faster. because that 5 years is also 5 years you're not building expertise. And then and then some people want to do it and become like associate professors and stuff like that, and then they want to become professors, and then they realize that like colleges are basically like, like all the positions are gone, because like colleges are trying to maximize already insane profits at the universities, and then they try to get into the private sector, right? And then they're basically years, like from an experience perspective, years behind any of their other coworkers, and people with significantly lower levels of education can make just as much money as them. So I think it really depends on what you want. I think any PhD you get, you're going to have to like the subject matter. You're going to have to do it because you like the subject matter, because a PhD is rarely the most efficient way to make money, or even I would say a solid way of making money, because the jobs you get, like the jobs that you can apply, like the amount of time you lose, you could hustle really hard in that time in your career and just keep upping your salary. So it's a difficult question to answer, but I would say, how much do you really want to do that position? Oh, sorry. The third thing I was thinking about, you are trying to work in a foreign country and you want your visa status upgraded. Yes, that would be a great reason to go get a PhD. A lot of countries use the point-based system, where having a PhD can help you more easily get permanent residency. So sorry, that's the third situation. In that situation, yeah, 100% go for it. Yeah, if you want to work in a foreign country and you want to ace the point-based system, PhDs are great for that. So I mean, I don't know. It depends on what you want, really. If you want to make a lot of money and that's the primary concern, PhDs are not the way to go, unless you want to kind of guarantee permanent residency in a country, in which case a PhD can be quite useful. Usually a master's degree will get you there as well. And that's kind of the thing with PhDs, right? There's always a thing about like a master's degree can usually do it more efficiently, right? So, something to consider. All right. So I can probably answer like one or two more questions because I have to go get coffee and I have a meeting at 9. Ishan Dandekar, I want to be a computer vision expert / engineer eventually. How should I build my portfolio? Go to Waymo's website. They have a computer vision challenge for their cars. Highly recommend doing that. Yep, that is one way I would go about doing that. All right, guys. I just finished listening to the Analytical Mind podcast. I'm happy to follow your channel. Thank you so much, Manuel. Yeah, it was fun. Being on that podcast is fun. I love being on podcasts. I can kind of like riff with people, throw my crazy ideas out there, see how it works. And it seems you liked it. So I'm glad you joined. Thank you so much, everyone. Yin Kong Tan. May I kindly ask, does doing Kaggle competitions help in building your DS and ML skills? 100%. I've heard recently some people bagging on Kaggle. No, Kaggle is amazing. And the fact that even like exists as a system is insane. Like that you can just kind of like practice like on real data sets and stuff is crazy. So look at Netflix. I think most of their algorithmic DSs have PhDs. Josh. Oh yeah. Okay. So sorry. I completely forgot. There is one thing that you need a PhD for. Yes, there are certain positions that are basically only available to people who have PhDs. Certain high-paying positions, high-paying, high-skill positions. That kind of ties back to my whole example of you kind of have to like the work, though. If you're going to spend that much time being that specific about something, you have to like the work. So yes, that is another reason to get a PhD. You can get into these really, really high-end positions at tech companies. Just be in mind that those are very limited positions. There are only so many of them. So, all right, guys. So, have you made any web scraping videos? So, Cyan, have you ever looked at my channel and like typed in the search bar web scraping? I have a couple of videos over there. Please tell complete. Wait, are you serious, dude? Come on, I have a data. I have a roadmap video. All right, so. Chirag Kumar Chavda is going to be banned from the channel. Hide user from channel. Can I just ban them from the channel entirely? No, I can only hide them. Okay, cool. Same thing with Omkar. I have basically no tolerance for spammers. Let's see. Who else should we just remove from the channel entirely? Scions isn't that bad. Okay. Zara, of course. I'm glad to do it. And like anyone, if you come to these live streams, you'll know that, there's only so many, like questions I can answer, right? I'm only here for an hour. So many questions I can answer. So I basically never get to everyone's questions all at once. I probably, and I don't want to start a question bank because eventually that bank will get so large that the live stream would just be me doing stuff from the bank, right? So, I thank you guys so much for understanding and stuff. Hey, Shashank, how often do you use natural language processing for your day job? I personally don't use it that much, but there are some people in my job that use it quite a bit. So yes. Yes. All right, guys. So I'm going to head out right now. I have to go grab some coffee before my 9 o'clock meeting. Thank you guys so much for joining. You guys are the ones that make this channel possible. I'm so lucky that this channel allows me to be very authentic with people while still having people come and watch my live streams. Because as you guys can probably tell, I'm not like this like super obsequious, like mega friendly person, like answering every single question that comes to me. I like to answer questions that are. I like to help people that want to help themselves. So you'll also see I'm quite critical of people who like don't search my channel for basic videos because that's how you make money. But thank you guys so much for your time. I'll be here again, same time, same place. Not the same, or same place? Yeah, I'll still be in Seattle. Yeah, same time, same place.